Let go, be free, be you, I'll be you. Let go, be free, be you, and I'll be you. Let go, be free, be you, I'll be me. Let go, be free, be you. Welcome to Alchemy Radio with your host, Cindy Carter. Good morning, good day, and good evening to my friends across the pond. It's a delightful warm day here in North Carolina. The mountains are filled with intense energies, portals and vortexes of light and frequencies. It's not called God's country for nothing around here. I revel in it. Today, we're going to be tackling a very daunting subject. A very daunting subject about entities, demons, vampires, Klingons, whatever you want to call them. It's about fear and the vibration of fear and how it can bring a body and a mind into an unpleasant place emotionally, physically, and spiritually. We're looking for spiritual balance and integration of aspects of yourself. Looking for wholeness. Well, we can seek wholeness, but really we are already whole. All aspects within us, dark or light, negative or positive, yin or yang, good or bad, mean or sweet, they're all part of the whole, part of the wholeness of you. Demons and shapeshifters have been a part of history in many contexts. They've been named different things: trolls, leprechauns, gnomes. All cultures make reference to these non-human entities that cause havoc in the lives of many people. You see, source light, God's light, universal light, is both dark and light. And our cultures went into fear-based ideas and frequencies when exposed to the power of the dark. They became fearful. So fear became now in their field. It became rampant in their minds and bodies and in humanity's consciousness. Therefore, any life that preceded that was going to be based in fear. So then, how much influence is in an outside source affecting you and your mind, or your emotions, or your body and your health? Well, here's an ascended thought, or an idea beyond this. And it really may be a stretch for many of you, but here goes. There's nothing to fear and nothing to fight. And this fear and flight is exactly what attaches you to outside sources. So this then becomes your responsibility. You reached out to it. We are really no longer the victim of outside circumstances. It may take a whole hour for you to grasp this concept. Or you can grasp it instantly if you choose. But it's not easy for many to wrap around the idea of responsibility, non-victimhood. So a question to ask is, how much airtime is fear, anxiety, demonic thoughts, or outside attacks having inside my body, inside my mind, inside my emotions, in the active consciousness of my daily life? How much airtime do I really allow for this activity of low vibration? You could give it a percentage. You might be surprised. The integration of your mind and your body and your soul with the universal alignment, it requires us to see how much we're allowing consciously for the lower vibrations in us, to receive less space in your mind and less space in your body, taking up less real estate in your body or in your emotional body. The percentages may change and may be redistributed, but it's still a wholeness. You're still a whole being, but to a lesser negative influence when given a lesser percentage of time in the body. This is done consciously with your conscious mind. We can't just fake it till you make it. That's a good start. but through the heart guiding the mind into peace. That's how we get rid of negative influence. It's not the reptilian brain activating fear sequences in the body systems, as we repeat that over and over through many lifetimes. It's now a heart-guided mind consciousness. This is Christ consciousness in a body. So many people I work with or meet have been victims of some demonic activity or thought in some way or another. Some become victims of their own thoughts, or take on the fears of others, or take on the fears blasted into their systems through a mass media, or through off-planet influences, satanic abuses, religious manipulations, or shadow government's rule. I'm never going to deny that these things exist because I know that they do. There are 3-letter agencies out there that do not want you to survive. And then there are people within that agency that want you to survive. Do you see there is dark and light in all things? What are you going to bump up against next? It could be dark. It could be light. How will you react? How will you respond? So people ask themselves, are these outside influences just out to get my light? Are these things feeding off of me? Are these energetic entity attachments in my mind or in my emotions? See, these are some of the fear-based thoughts that come to you because of outside activity. Well, it's really not about the attack or the source of the attack. Frankly, there are too many attacks or kinds of attacks to even discuss them all. And there's plenty of activities on the web for you to find out all the things that are attacking you. This is not about identifying the attack. It's about the sovereign human taking back their light and allowing themselves self-love and compassion for themselves and for others. And it allows them to rein in their tentacles of fear. I call them tentacles of fear. Because you have the choice of what to do with your own tentacles. You can bring them in or you can send them out. It's your responsibility. Well, here's a good analogy for you. If you're fishing, say you're ocean fishing, where you know you can pull up anything out of the ocean, scary stuff or beautiful stuff. But you go ahead and you throw out, say, 6 hooks, 6 lines. You cast them outside your body. There goes your frequencies. What goes along that fishing line? What comes back to you from what you have cast out? Fear or strength? Fear or love? When you cast out unknowingly the frequencies of fear out into the soup, out into the ocean, guess what? You might hook into a demonic archontic stream that sends itself right down the fishing line into your mind or your body. Is this the fault of the demonic? Is it because there's scary stuff in the ocean? No, it's because you chose to cast out your frequencies without properly cleansing what might come back. You have to cleanse and rewire the body on the receiving end. Rewiring and changing your perceptions about your own fears. This allows you to cast lines without fear of what might come back to you, because your vessel is now clear without triggers. Again, this is your responsibility. You're the one casting your thoughts out into the ethers. So go ahead and cast a thought out into the ethers that there is a helicopter about to come after you. And I'll be damned if one will do that. You see, you are a powerful creation in and of itself. You cast out mental intentions, emotional intentions, vibrations of intention, and they come back to you. It's your responsibility what you rein in, what you reel in from the ocean. And hopefully it would be something beautiful, that you could put back to the ocean that remains in life form, not death form. Again, it's your responsibility. So this subject of entities and demons, some people and some teachers believe there's no such thing. Well, there are two aspects of this that need to be looked at. One is that a demonic consciousness stream is the first thing. It's known as an archontic stream. It's a living consciousness as a layer around the earth, where our lowest vibrations, our thought forms, our activities exist in their darkness. We all contribute to it. This is created by the lower vibrations of humans, as in humanities' consciousness field. So knowing this, some may, out of fear and separation, say, that's something outside us to be fearful of, and these demons and vampires will get you. They want to feed off your energy. This is an outer reflection of your inner makeup. Again, who's casting the line? We live in a consciousness that is filled with darkness. That's part of the whole. Number 2. So the first one is the demonic consciousness stream. The second most important thing to look at when you're looking at demons or entities or attachments is that the demonic consciousness or vibration that's living and activating in and around your body and your thought forms, the traumas inside your cellular body, around the plasma gas consciousness floating around you, representing your multidimensions, these non-aligned lower vibrations affect your life, which with distractions away from you. They're not letting you integrate the things that you need to integrate. Remember, you're always whole. But let's just realign the bodies, the energies, so that they're operating more efficiently and more comfortably. So the two things are the demonic consciousness that is outside of our bodies, around an earth made up of multiple consciousness. And then the demonic consciousness or vibration within us, the darkness that's unknown within us. Those are two different separate sources. It doesn't matter how they come or go from you. The fact is you're the responsible party. This is a stretch for some to go to. It's easier to be the victim in a lot of respects, especially when we're talking about reptilian, vampiric, awful entities. Well, this kind of thing is going on in each and every human on the earth, and this is also happening to the earth. That's because the archontic stream that you can bump up to any time, day or night, is going to match what is going on in your body. The soup that makes the colorful array of who we are, so you bump up against a lower vibration. If you're also holding a large percentage of lower vibrations, you're going to be triggered. You also can be triggered by an unusually higher vibration. So both ends of the spectrum trigger the heck out of you. Well, you can run and hide and say the demons are out to get you, that you're so special, that you're so bright, that there's an agenda against you. Believe me, I have a lot of clients that tell me this. A lot of MK Ultra, My Labs clients that have been told by voices they're special. This has created a demonic activity inside their own bodies, inside their own minds, that they cast out to meet other demonic activity that then grows in their mind, their body, and their life. So it's about you having the responsibility. I've been trained in hypnotherapy where the unconscious mind is brought into the consciousness, and that's not always the prettiest thing. You know, when shadow aspects and unknown thoughts and beliefs and the origins of those can come flying out whenever given the opportunity. But this really must be done in a safe and loving environment, or no being would expose their most vulnerable self. I believe that hypnotherapy, as well as many other modalities, can actually do a bit more damage to the psyche, to the subconscious, and the conscious mind by exploding the subconscious mind to now be processed by the conscious mind. The story becomes grand, the story becomes large, and then it activates more of that within the cellular body, again activating the demonic. We might be successful in hypnotherapy of removing that, and I have been. But there are often times when the story becomes the awe factor, the thread to keep them attached to the demonic. This will not be a very popular thing for my hypnotherapy friends. Again, this is my opinion and my experience. Everything I speak of is from my experience only. So the story within the hypnotherapy that's brought out can be so grand and exciting and crazy and weird all at one time. It's holding us like in a trance. It's like a state of not moving, of stall, because you're in awe now of this story. I've been involved in demonic depossessions, as some would call it, for the last, maybe 6 or 7 years. I had to work with my own body and my own shadow aspects for many years before I was even allowed in that arena, energetically. It's quite the wild process, and you have to be able to hold extreme space. I guess that's why only Catholic priests are trained for that activity. Well, the subconscious mind is really powerful, and I'm going to give you an example. And it's a pretty extreme example, but it's real. And it's what I experienced. And it's a good example for you about the power of the mind and the subconscious mind and the demonic activity within the body and mind. So here's the story. I met a spiritual person from Germany when I was living in Canada. And he was a pilot for an international airline. He really wanted to pursue his spiritual teachings and some meditation groups that he had started back in Germany and not be so interested in the flying. So he kept thinking about retirement. He also at the same time was doing a lot of astral travel to other planets, remote viewing, and he was being influenced by a group of off-planet beings that began influencing his thinking. He was a collector, I called it, of energy. Always hugging way more than usual, touching your necklaces, having you wear his crystals, then wearing them right after you. You see, he was an energy junkie, sucking in any and all people's love energy that he could. He was so filled with love and light it seemed to everyone around him from the mask that he wore. Yet I could see something was off. You see, the voices in his head, the off-planet beings, were telling him that he was so powerful as a creator being or a creator god, they told him, that he could create a tumor in his brain that when found on an x-ray would ground him immediately from flying. He would get a hefty disability and then could repair the tumor himself with his own mind. This is all true. This voice was speaking a truth to him, but this was not a benevolent, self-loving idea. This is a self-serving, self-deprecating way to get a luxury, a benefit of planet life, again, an energy junkie. Imagine a grown man making the decision to give himself a brain tumor and then cure it for money so he could be spiritual. Imbalance of energy becomes very apparent in traumatic thinking, demonic thinking. Well, this fellow and his girlfriend were roommates of mine for a very short while. I came home late one evening to him doubled over in the kitchen in severe pain with his girlfriend by his side, completely frantic. He was holding the left side of his head. You see, this was the exact place of the tumor that he had created and thought that he had repaired. You see, the subconscious mind takes on the energy of trauma in a unique way. It absorbs it into its field like a sponge and then hangs on tight. You then are not seeing what's inside, so it's not an issue for you until it's unearthed or triggered by you. But it is into the archontic streams, other people's demonic, vampiric, reptilian consciousness. Until the seed or the cause is dealt with or harmonized, it will rise its ugly head when higher energy is present. So I figured to get any sleep that night, I would honor their frantic request for a session, to rid him of this pain and the seed of the pain, to take out the source of this pain. You see, he had not told anyone of his agreement with these off-planet beings to make that tumor in his own head. These were all just thoughts in his head that he pretended to have. He didn't realize the power of his own intentions. He didn't know the influence of outside sources that attached to his own unprocessed and deeply hidden traumas of being left alone. As a child, this was his fear, that no one loved him, that he was alone. You see, he used the meditation groups to rectify that as an adult, to harness all the love that he never had, to cultivate, to collect. A collector of love, a collector of energy. This is called vampiring others' energy fields to benefit your own. Unknown activities, unknown belief from childhood of not being loved led this man through demonic thoughts and shadow aspects to mutilate his body so that he became the source of energy for the archontic stream. You see, our thoughts and beliefs sent outside of us creates the attachment. I want to make this really clear, and my words not taken out of context in the fullness of this discussion. We are the responsible party for maintaining our vibration, knowingly or unknowingly. I'm not going to the blame game, the let's fight these beings game, the galactic war continuance. None of that. We live in a holographic universe where our abilities to stay in human bodies is being tested. So, a 2-hour hypnotherapy session and much conversation and insight later, and holding of intense energies, and he was pain-free. You see, once he realized what his subconscious mind did to him, or what his subconscious mind gifted him, in this awareness that he had a shadow aspect based on his own trauma that he refused to see or was unable to see, that he was willing to make a different decision, to stop harnessing energy, to stop collecting the love. You see, he learned that he was the love. He is made of divine grace and creation. He had to see his ability to self-love, to self-nurture, to nurture the self that went through the trauma. Once he did that, his life changed for upliftment's sake. So I consider these things gifts of our spirit to bring awareness to our most unresolved vibrations. It's a huge vibrational turn to have the perception that pain assists you, or that trauma has gifted you anything at all. But if you view life simultaneously, all at once, the reality of it, minus the emotion and mental judgments and triggers, these things do become masterful gifts. Gifts of life. It allows you life. It allows you harmonious life. It may not look like it right at the time that it's happening, but most will see in hindsight it was a gift of their higher self, of their higher wisdom, to have this incarnation become more fully aware of itself. Self-awareness is the gift, not the trauma. Viewing life as a gift changes the vibratory pattern of the field you operate in. The field that manifests from you, that you intend from, and the one you emote from, that you live from. life's occurrences can then be with a new perception and understanding that may feel more comfortable and at ease for you. It could be like, wow, there's nothing outside here that's attacking me, because I have the power to assist my own being in my own perception of how this is called an attack or not. I see myself as a responsible party. My repressed emotions or my mental constructs inside of me might be attracting through my own vibration as I cast out my fishing line. Like, if I really meet a mean person and they're standing near you for any reason, it's not because you have a really mean part of you. Actually, the odds are really high that you're going to meet some mean person anyway. You could be a clear vessel and meet a mean person. It's the odds of living in the soup on a holographic planet and the powerful consciousnh of the archontic stream. Perhaps you are witness to shadow aspects within you through the process, or that you feel no trigger within you, and you're here in service to the lower vibration, to allow them the opportunity to display their traumas in a loving space so they can become aware. It's not about condemning our shadows or condemning their shadows. We're not here to fight ourselves or others in any way. So this pilot, his life choice of vampiric activity of himself and others resulted in his awareness of his unconscious choices of being far away from life. Sure, it would be nice to just become aware in the beginning through conscious discovery and not have to go through all this. That's a great idea for the future, by the way. Hint, hint, hint for some of you. Just get on with it. Just choose to get on with it. We have powerful minds and powerful intentions. You could choose not to play in the vampiric fields, even if it is something vibrating inside you. I have dozens of these stories, but the grace and ease of the modalities of realigning into awareness have become different now. The modality had to alter itself to keep up with the cosmic movement of the energy fields of people and the energy fields of Earth. I mean, the cosmic rays are pummeling us now. The darkness is coming out. There is nowhere to hide. So I'm able to offer a more kind way of releasing and realigning with all your aspects of your consciousness and your subconsciousness. We don't have to go through hours of pouring through stories anymore through hypnotherapy. We have a hands-on modality called holographic healing. Not like Reiki, but a bunch bigger than Reiki. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly seen all through the eyes of awareness, kindness, and compassion. This holographic healing modality allows me to let you be the healer of your own self. You are the conscious chooser of your own reality, of your own soul's wishes. It's just assisted by the safe, loving, high vibrational space and facilitation of the energies. You could call this grace. To bring a humanity into conscious harmony, we must be able to witness and understand the shadow aspects of that humanity. That these aspects must be brought into alignment so that the consciousness is not so volatile and not so unpleasant here on Earth. So we're witnessing the purging right now. This blast through the cosmic fields is really something, isn't it? I mean, I feel like I should have a etheric box of popcorn and maybe a box of milk duds for this one. But I see grace being displayed, and I see people are becoming aware of their actions. So you might ask, what is your role within humanity to witness and transcend the dark aspects of life? The influences and distractions that keep you far away from your awareness of peace and love. The shadow aspects of humanity could be, for example, shown to you in forms of corruption, degradation, manipulation in governments, healthcare, education, land use, personal rights. All these things have been scripted. A script can be torn up, or canceled even. It's a universal right and a law that it only takes one being or one side to cancel an agreement. So, isn't it time a humanity says we're canceling this agreement? A humanity can change the way they perceive life, and they can change the vibrational field around it, and the consciousness changes en masse. En masse. By however many can become aware. Through osmosis, it ripples. When environments become healthy and friendly and stable and loving, all things within that environment change. Some beings will change willingly with it, happily becoming happy. Then there are others that when their environment or vibrational change is present, it disrupts their field, even if it is happy. It makes them agitated or anxious or angry. All of a sudden, out comes the demon inside that person. Whoa! All from being exposed to a higher vibration. How can this be? This is alchemy. This is not attack. This is higher energy influencing lower energy. When a high energy being is next to a low energy being, there could be something happen here, like shaking up a snow globe, like something uncomfortable or violent even within them is unearthed, unconsciously coming out. We are becoming transparent entities of light. Can't hide. So when a lower vibration is triggered, either knowingly or unknowingly, it causes an electrical charge, a disturbance in the auric field to be witnessed. Why? Why does this happen? Is there to fight with you? Or is it there for your witness? The one to respond in a high level awareness, kindness, of high consciousness and wisdom that sees the trauma for what it is, and that it's discordant energy that needs to be given compassion and understanding with self-love boundaries. Self-love has boundaries. It has large boundaries. So that the archontic stream and other people's stuff doesn't become your stuff. I use the word demon as many of my clients and people in general, especially religious ones, recognize what a demon may mean. But few will realize how I truly perceive a demon. A demon to me is a shadow aspect of yourself. This display of not the normal, of the neurosis or the repression of the traumatic experiences or instinctual angers, unconscious thoughts and emotions, the unknown reasons for your depression, your sadness or shame. When these things are not dealt with, swept under the rug, deep down into the body they go. Ah, you feel better, you say. Well, over time, these things pile up and become more uncontrollable and unruly in your life. The electrical outbursts become real. They become addictions, abuses, and they all stem from all these unprocessed or hidden deep within us traumas, ideas, beliefs, attitudes, transmissions of lower vibration. A trauma can be any kind of thing. This is a word I use to explain a wide range of things that can influence and activate this trauma, the shadow aspect of yourself. Trauma can be a physical trauma, say a car accident on a bridge where you no longer are able to be on a bridge. Or when an event and your reaction to that event, the reaction in your mind or in your heart, in your body, in your emotions, remembers in all your multi-dimensions and processes through all the 7 bodies. This is what yourself would want, to process the trauma with kindness, through the kindness of your emotional field, not the fear. through the kindness of your mental body, not your fear. Or trauma could be something from your childhood, an unpleasant experience that you won't allow yourself to even think about because it brings the same pain to your mind, to your body. Well, these repressed emotions bottled up in the body as discordant energies or strands of light that want to connect to your harmony, yet they're being jolted by the environment of many traumas. A trauma can also be an epigenetic trauma, a trauma from an ancestor, say your mother's mother's mother, gifted you the same trauma. It's a DNA marker on your cell that vibrates in the lower vibration that causes the unconscious ability for you to create demons within your own life. When we can view our traumas in this way, there's no shame for your former choices or your former circumstances. It's all about transparency and light. This is why all things are perfect. It's not about bad or good. It's just what it is. So what about enlightenment and being a light being, or being that peaceful, loving person that's not done? It's not done by pushing away the unpleasant aspects of yourself. All the chaos and disharmony, maybe feeling it. Like you may feel shame or fear or jealousy or just negativity. There are many New Age spiritual teachings that keep us really far away from anything negative. That bliss stuff and the love and light, like basking in the light of purity only is going to make you pure. Well, I see energy in all things, simultaneous energy, where it came from, where it's going, where it is. So is the idea to sit in a meadow loving on trees, hanging out with crystals just to reach higher vibration? Well, these things help attune a vibration. And I personally like all those things a lot. But what's needed is harmonization of the lower vibrations, of the darker aspects of yourself, of the traumas, through your conscious mind, through your awareness, and your kindness of yourself through the process. This is a reconciliation of all the parts of you. Soul retrieval of all the aspects of you, no matter what lifetime you led them. You had warriors that still won a war. You had, victimhood that still wants to be a victim within you. Light and dark, an inner unification back to the core essence of you. That is what is occurring now. We're trying to unearth through alchemy of our life and awareness of ourself the core essence, which is the peace and the love and the harmony and the freedom, the joy, the happiness that you know that you can be. So here we are, to be in acceptance and direct experience of the shadow aspects of the light, of mindful awareness and clarity within you. So do not live in fear, folks. It's not necessary. Not necessary at all. During this time of transparency, it's time to live in transparency with no shame, no blame, no judgment of outside sources, and no judgment of your inside sources. Live with love and understanding of the ugliness displayed from you or to you. You could choose to share your calmness with others and not your traumas. It makes for a happy day. Makes for a happy life, no matter what is occurring. So here's to all those that choose to transmute their darkness and shadow aspects and accept themselves and others in an unconditional love. This is how humanity ascends, one person at a time, transmuting the darkness, transmuting the demon. You can do this. We all can do this if we choose. I offer spiritual counseling sessions at an affordable exchange. I offer long-distance healing and also offer holographic healing certification classes. You can find out more on my website at www.knowingdoe.com. This discussion today was for your awareness, for you to come into agreement that demons are not here to attack you. You're here to rectify what is demonic within you and become peaceful in a mind and body and uplift your life. So, many blessings of upliftment to you all, and happy transmuting.